Podcast. San Diego State on the road tonight, taking on Boise State at 6 o'clock. Of course, you hear Schaefer on the call starting at 6 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Fletch gets you going pregame starting at 5. Boise State is currently a 1.5-point favorite at home, and the point total is set at 144.5. The Lakers are back tonight too, looking to make it 3 straight, taking on the Pelicans, who bring in a record of 19-43. That game is getting live from Crypto at 7:30. Lake Show are an 8.5-point favorite in that one. Your date left, the food was great, and then nothing. Ghosted, vanished, witness protection perhaps. Brooke and Jeffrey call them and get answers you may not want to hear. Listen to Brooke and Jeffrey's second date update on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
Sound off like you got a pair.
As we gear up for the World Baseball Classic, does the U.S. have to win it all?
Yeah.
The Aztecs are back on the road against Boise State in the second-to-last game of the regular season. And could the Jets really trade up for the Raiders' #1 pick? We have live reaction from Fernando Mendoza.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Plus the picks.
Every time we start with a Tuesday, we build up.
Oh, going light today.
Iowa State on the road in Arizona, plus 7.5. Give us the Cyclones.
What in the world?
Well, that wasn't even close.
Under 215.5 in the point total for Milwaukee and Boston.
50% isn't terrible.
Hey, great second half. Great second half, baby. Nice job.
We're staying positive today. Let's go live to the San Diego Sports 760 studios, in depth with the Fletch Zone.
Going on a Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Jonathan Rifkin will be taking over then, and then 5 o'clock I'll be back on as we get you ready for Aztecs hoops. They're on the road at Boise State. John Schaefer will have the game starting at 6 o'clock tonight. Before we get into the Padres, before we get into Aztecs, before we get Kevin Acee at 12:30. And we have a lot of fun on the show today, as well as giving away some Elephant Valley tickets at the Safari Park. Sammy Long, are you ready to have a great show?
Hell yeah.
Are you ready to have a great show?
It's a lot of energy for 12 o'clock.
Oh, I'm feeling good today, Sammy. So let's get this thing going.
By the way, hold on. The most pressing question, have you ridden the Peloton yet?
Not for 1 second. Not for one second.
All that yesterday about what your name should be on the Peloton bike was for nothing. All our beautiful listeners came up with names, and you couldn't even get on it last night.
Not even for a second. I wasn't even home last night until like 9 o'clock at night. So no, I did not ride the Peloton, but thank you for all the names. Maybe actually, we don't have the power cord for it yet. So that's coming in the mail.
All I hear are excuses, Fletch.
Right now, it's just a stationary bike. It's not even plugged into the actual TV thing. But once it gets going, I promise you I will ride it one day. And when I'm walking funny into work, that's when you'll know whether or not I rode it. I did have an eventful night last night, though. I'll let you know about it a little bit later on. I do want to start with the San Diego Padres because the baseball nerds are doing the preseason nerd thing and the analytics and whatnot. And now Codify is one of these websites that actually, like, starting pitchers in Major League Baseball use Codify. It helps target different batters in different areas and allow them to have heat maps for different hitters, scouting reports, and pitch design simulation. So there's like 300 starting pitchers in Major League Baseball who use this website and use this team, Codify. Codify will also do analytics-based predictions. And they have come out with their analytics-based predictions on percentage chances for each team in Major League Baseball to make the postseason. Now, this list is a little daunting. I'm going to be very upfront and cautious with all Padres fans who are listening. This is going to piss you off a little bit, but I do think that there's some data we can take from this and maybe tweak it a little bit. So, no surprise, Dodgers are the most likely team to make the postseason in Major League Baseball, 90 to 100% chance. The Braves at 80 to 90%. 70 to 80% is Seattle, New York Mets, Detroit Tigers, and New York Yankees. 60 to 70 is Philly, Toronto, Chicago Cubs. 50 to 60, Boston and Baltimore. 40 to 50, Pittsburgh Pirates. 30 to 40, Kansas City, Milwaukee, San Fran, Houston, Texas, Arizona, Tampa Bay. And then 20 to 30% chance, the A's, the Twins, and the Padres. So what that list is telling you is that at least by Codify's metrics, by Codify's analytics, by this list that they've put out, they are telling you that the Padres not only have a worse chance to make the postseason than the Pittsburgh Pirates, which whatever, but they're also the number 4 team in the National League West. That is what that stat website, one very specific one, is letting you know about the San Diego Padres heading into the season. Now, all of them are different. Fangraph says something different. This is the worst one I've seen, by the way, for the Padres. But when you start to look at the offseason that everybody had, is that true? As of right now, are the Padres the 4th best team in the National League West?
I wouldn't say 4, but that's what's depressing their market value. People are like, some books have had them, they're over under at 79, their win total. Some people have had them at 86. It's kind of really varied.
And 79 may not be enough to make the postseason.
Definitely. But it's like the NFL. When you play in a brutal division, it's hard to make the postseason because you're not beating up on, like the Patriots did for years. They got to beat up on the Bills and the Jets and the Dolphins. 4 out of the 5 teams in the NL West are legit ball clubs. The Dodgers are number 1. And then you have the Padres, which has a legit case for number 2. I would put them above the Giants. I don't think the Giants got all that much better. They had a big name in Luis Arias come over, some veteran pitchers, but it feels like the Giants run the same thing back every year and expect different results. And I don't see that. Now, the Diamondbacks are an interesting team because you got Corbin Burns. Ketel Marte is kind of rising into be a superstar. Corbin Carroll, they have a really top outfield prospect that's coming up this year. They got some interesting juice on that team, but the problem with them, their bullpen's awful. I believe it was 26 in the MLB last year, and they didn't really do much to improve that. Now, the other problem, though, is the Padres calling card is a bullpen, which is great, and I think the bullpen will be good this year, but when your calling card is a bullpen, it varies from year to year heavily. Look at this.
Ultimately, the Padres' biggest problem right now is there are too many question marks with this team. And it's right. The what ifs are the problem for the Padres, because if everything goes great, man, if you're talking about the stars in this lineup, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill, if they have a great year, the Padres are probably going to be great. If the starting rotation works and everyone stays healthy and maybe you hit on one of those late additions, it only takes one, really. You have a 4-man rotation that's pretty good, and then you got a group of guys who can eat innings. If that's the case, great. But these are all what ifs, and they're huge. The one thing you feel confident about if you're a Padres fan sitting here is as long as health is there, the bullpen's going to be fantastic once again. Everything else is question marks. Can Fernando Tatis Jr. get back to what he was? Can Manny Machado have a consistent season where we don't see a couple months?
Can Jackson Merrill get back to potential superstar status?
Exactly right. And then you look up and down the lineup, it's like, can Nick Castellanos hit 20-plus home runs for you? I think we all think that's going to happen, but do we know? No. It's all a bunch of what ifs with the Padres. And I do think that's what, and the text line's being very funny about this Codify website, that's just an example to get us kicked off into this conversation, is what are the Padres right now as we sit, 23 days away from opening day here in San Diego? There's a lot of question marks surrounding this team. And they made moves. They made moves to address a lot of the holes on this team. Will those moves hit? And those are all pretty big what ifs. So I don't know. That article this morning, the study that they did got me a little bit nervous, I'll be honest. It's a lot more fun to cover the Padres when they're winning a lot of baseball games, but we'll be here for you every single day of the regular season, whether they're winning or not.
That's the thing, is that it's not like in years past, it felt like it was everyone's trying to catch the Dodgers, but you were able to they can beat up on the Rockies, but you're able to beat up on the other couple teams in your division. The fact that, look what the Dodgers have done the last few years, and they obviously have the resources and they're able to do this because of other circumstances, but they can put Blake Snell on ice. They can put Tyler Glasnow for months on end with mysterious injuries, Roki Sasaki, and then all of a sudden they're magically healthy. The Dodgers are like, we're not trying to win 115 games. We're cool winning 93 and winning the division and then them being healthy for the postseason. The problem with the Padres is, yes, if they're healthy, I think they're a dangerous threat. But they can't put dudes on ice for months on end, bring Joe Musgrove along slowly, and expect to reasonably be in the playoff picture because of how talented the Diamondbacks and the Giants are.
It's going to be a fun year. Promise you that. 26 days away. I'm excited for it. All right, let's get to the big three here of our number one. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll let you know how to win those San Diego Zoo Safari Park tickets for the new Elephant Valley, which is huge. And then we're also going to let you know about the schedule for the rest of the show here coming up in a bit. But Sammy, let's get to the big three. Go ahead. Smash it.
Break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big three.
We got a million texts. We will get to them coming up in a little bit. 70470. Start your message with the word team. YouTube is open at San Diego Sports 760. Would love for you to jump in there, interact with the team as well. Sammy, where are we going?
All right. Big news out of the NFL. Franchise tag deadline today had some big names. So Trey Hendrickson, star pass rusher for the Bengals, not tagged. Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP for the Seahawks, not tagged. Breece Hall was tagged by the Jets. He was expected to be top of the market for running backs. And then as of 2 minutes ago, Daniel Jones was transition tagged. So likely going back to the Colts, but he is free to sign an offer sheet with another team. And then the Colts have a right to match that.
Right.
If it's higher. But it's a transition tag, so it's like $6 million less than a franchise tag. Anyway.
But he's got a little bit of freedom. So if some of these quarterback-needy teams want to crack at Daniel Jones, they can take it.
I wonder what his market is. I don't feel like a team is breaking the bank for Daniel Jones.
I don't either, but there's teams out there that could use him this year as a starter. All right, let's start with Breece Hall. Are you okay, Sammy?
Yep.
I know you wanted him on the Chiefs.
No, I'm fine. Honestly, paying $14 million a year for a running back, even though he's unbelievable, probably wasn't in the best interest for the Chiefs.
Right. The more pressing NFL news of the day for me is something we actually joked about yesterday for a little bit, which is Max Crosby to the Cowboys, because now it seems like it's a reality. They're actually jumping up to the betting favorites. But with franchise tags, the Trey Hendrickson thing, I think that's the biggest impact news of everything you just read off, because where Trey Hendrickson goes, you would imagine he wants to go to a contender after suffering in Cincinnati for a few years. He makes an immediate impact wherever he goes. He is a top 2 or 3 pass rusher in this league right now. Who ends up with Trey Hendrickson? They win this offseason.
Trey Hendrickson, it's rare that you get a pass rusher that can really game wreck, and Trey Hendrickson is that guy. And to be fair to Trey Hendrickson, he might have even been better if over the years he had someone opposite him. The Bengals defense has been awful for years, and he
led the NFL in sacks 2 years in a row, right?
Right, and with no one on the other side. I mean, Joseph Osai, no disrespect, that's not a number 2 pass rusher that teams are scared of. So Hendrickson can certainly make a difference. I'm curious how the running back market shakes out, because I don't get the Jets. I don't understand that at all. I thought the whole thing was rebuilding this team. Why you're tagging a running back to make Big Lou, who's going to leave you in a year. Even if you were to work out a deal with Breece Hall, by the time the Jets are in contention because they drafted a young quarterback and developed, he's going to be gone, or he's going to be washed. He's going to be 30 years old. So I don't get that from the Jets' perspective. Really interesting, the Seahawks let go of Kenneth Walker. I think it's a smart thing. I think Kenneth Walker still could be a beast for someone else. I think this is what good organizations do. They move on from big-time talent. Look at the Seahawks a year ago. They move on from DK Metcalf. This year, Super Bowl MVP, they're letting walk because they know they have Zach Charbonnet behind them, and they're not just being prisoners of the moment and paying their Super Bowl winning team anything they want because they were successful. Kenneth Walker will go be a star somewhere, but he does play a brand of football where he's not a great receiving back. It's all about kind of downhill running. He could have success somewhere else, but I guess kudos for the Seahawks for not getting wrapped up in big deals.
Who next?
All right, let's go to Giannis. Giannis post-game. We actually called this. We called this on Long Shots last night that the Bucks would not score too many points. The Celtics absolutely dismantled them on the road in Milwaukee. Giannis said he was rusty, but quote, just happy to be back out there after the game. Was it the right move to bring Giannis back for the Bucks?
I'd say probably not. The Bucks probably don't want him playing at all. They want him wrapped in cellophane till the end of the season so they can get as much as possible for him. I'm kind of shocked Giannis is coming back and playing the rest of this year. What does he have to audition? What do NBA teams actually need to see from Giannis Antetokounmpo? Or is he trying to make some last-ditch effort to work things out in Milwaukee? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I would like to say in my heart, like, good for him. He's going out and playing the rest of his contract and doing this for the Milwaukee fans. That doesn't necessarily feel like that's what's happening to me. Like, he's been hurt for this long. Why not just stay hurt, with the air quotes around him, by the way?
Well, this doesn't make sense for anyone because Giannis has, throughout his career, had injury problems. He's had a lot of calf issues, and Giannis is unbelievable, 31 years old, still has many years ahead. But if you are a team giving up massive draft capital, that has to play in the back of your head. God forbid Giannis rips an ACL here. Giannis's career is set back. He's got to rehab for a year. And then the Bucks, like, let's cut the BS. No one's going to Milwaukee because they're like, oh, man, I love the city. I'm choosing that over Miami or L.A. or New York or, like, get out of here.
The people of Milwaukee are awesome.
Hey, sure, yeah. No, I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about the city.
75% of the year, the weather sucks.
Exactly. So you are not a free agent destination. So The one lottery ticket you have is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you can trade him for as many picks and try to reload this thing, because for the Milwaukee Bucks to be good, they have to do what Oklahoma City did and what the Spurs did. They have to draft, develop. It's not about like the Lakers or the Heat that can go out in free agency and just be spending galore and trades galore. They have to rebuild from the ground up. You're playing with fire, because if he gets hurt, the Bucks are SOL. I don't get it from their perspective. I would have shut him down. Who cares if he's mad anyway, because you're trading him in the offseason to begin with.
I will say the people of Wisconsin are some of the greatest sports fans that exist on this planet. So if I were to bright side this whole thing, I would say Giannis, after making the connections that he's made, how long has he been in Milwaukee now? 10 years?
Something like that. 8
yeah,
years.
It's been a while. Maybe he has grown some sort of fondness to the sports fan who is great in Wisconsin and is doing this for them.
If I was his agent, I'd be having a heart attack.
And so are the Bucks. They don't want this happening. Let's squeeze one more in, Sammy.
Let's actually, 100 days to the World Cup.
How about it?
100 days from today, the World Cup. I believe Mexico is playing South Africa. Don't quote me on that in the first game. But very excited for it to be on home soil. What defines a successful World Cup run for the US of A on our home soil?
They got to get into the knockout round, 100%. You have to get to a point where it matters, and then it is going to be matchup dependent. But if your favorite's in the knockout round, or if it's even a close game, or like prediction-wise, I'd say you got to get a win or two. This needs to be a situation where you're in the equivalent of the Elite Eight. You know what I mean?
I agree. It's like, because for as much as we give U.S. soccer, the U.S. men's team, the women's team kicks ass, but the men's team, we give them some flack. They do perennially get out of the group stage. In the last World Cup of Qatar, they actually were the second youngest roster in the entire field. So they're all, I mean, Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic's one of the best players in soccer. Chris McVey's coming up. There's a lot of talent on this team. Diego Luna has become a real big striker for the U.S.
That is the thing, though. Like, Christian Pulisic is one of the best soccer players in the world.
Right. That's not just for America.
You have somebody dominant now. And if he doesn't show up, and he deserves our ire.
There's no
which is anger, Sammy.
There's no. Are we going to be France or Argentina or even Portugal? One of these countries? No, because that England. This is their sport. But there is no reason that outside the top four, the U.S. shouldn't be right behind them. So I think the semifinals, quarterfinals, you have to get to the knockout round and win a stage or two. I think that would define a successful run. In England, like Alexi Lala said, now we're going Cowherd. England cannot win the World Cup on American soil. That would be a real problem.
I would also say just give us something to be excited about for the next time this thing comes around. Like, I do think the success of U.S. women's soccer has translated into a little bit of a soccer boom in the United States. All of a sudden, people who were kids, 8 years old, 9 years old, when the U.S. women's team was kicking ass, are now playing soccer professionally in the United States. So give us something to get excited about. Maybe a whole new generation comes around, and then 4 years from now, when we're looking at the World Cup, maybe the U.S. is favorites. Like, that is something special that you can do, but you got to start breeding it now. And for Team USA, get a couple wins for us. We're not asking you to be a finals team. We're asking you to be a Final Four team, maybe. That'd be pretty great.
You have to get out of the group. If you don't get out of the group on your home soil, that's an utter embarrassment.
I will boo. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to tell you exactly how to win those Elephant Valley tickets coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Kevin Acee coming up in 15 minutes. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Jonathan Riffian going to take over them for a couple hours. I'll be back at 5 o'clock to do some pregame for San Diego State Hoops. They're on the road. They got Boise State tonight. Shapey will be on the call at 6. All right. This is huge. The new Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park is going to let you get up close and personal and roam with the largest land animals on earth. The elephants aren't the only ones who will never forget. Elephant Valley now open. We got a 4-pack of tickets for you. We're going to save these for $115. All right. And here's the trick. I'm only going to tell you about this one more time, but we will not just give you a normal cue to call at $115. You got to be caller number 7. You cool with that, Sammy?
Yeah.
The phone number is 877-767-4760, but at $115, we'll be giving those tickets away. It's San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acee is coming up in about 8 minutes, so we'll make this quick here. I did want to get some of these texts in because they're pretty funny. 913 Jerks and Profar has more juice than Jamba.
Bro, how do you do it again?
You know, so Jerks and Profar has now been busted twice in the last 3 seasons
God.
for steroids, coming off of his career best year, by the way, with the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, he was on that sauce, what he was on.
Anyone questioning that year that he had with the Padres? But do you know how many in the since the 2 times Jerks and Profar has been suspended by PEDs? Do you know how many other Major League Baseball players have been suspended from PEDs? 2. So Jerks and Profar has done it twice.
Profar and Kiss that contract is but to get voided away.
He is already voluntarily saying, yeah, it's gone. So the contract is already gone. 858. I'd like to thank Sammy for betting against my Arizona Wildcats last night, secured the outright Big 12 championship, and all but cemented the number 1 seed in the West, which means we'll be playing here in San Diego the first weekend of the tourney. Thank you, Sammy. Bear down.
Iowa State, Bud, what did we do? We're not running any set plays, nothing, no inventiveness coming out of the second half. Tommy Lloyd walked all over Iowa State. Very disappointing from the Cyclones to not even cover the spread against Arizona. But congrats, 858. Your Arizona Wildcats do look good.
619. Was that an LA night? Yeah, in the intro from Quack.
Quacked.
Was it?
I don't know. We playing the intro again here at 1 o'clock.
I don't think I listened to the intro today. I apologize. 913. Ben, is it true Codify eats hot dogs the wrong way? They go sideways rather than the long way. I have heard that's true. Yes, Codify. 615. I would be so stoked if the Dolphins signed Daniel Jones, and that also proves how quarterback starved Finn fans are.
I don't think Daniel Jones is the answer. Do people not?
He's better than Tua.
Is he?
I think so.
Daniel Jones
was good with the Colts. I know you don't like him.
I don't like him. He was good for a month and a half.
And then he got hurt. Dude was playing on a broken ankle.
He was bad for the last 3 weeks before the broken ankle.
No, we found out about the broken ankle. He'd already been playing on it.
Well, first off, he was terrible against the Chiefs. The Chiefs gave him every opportunity to win that game.
Everything comes back to the Chiefs.
No, I'm just telling you, the Chiefs, literally the one clutch time game they won was against the Colts. And the Chiefs were trying to give them the game. They had an 11-point lead with 10 minutes to go, and he couldn't make big throws down the stretch there. Listen, the Colts took everyone by storm. We probably weren't giving him enough respect early on to start the year. Jonathan Taylor, he was completely playing behind an elite run game. Jonathan Taylor was in the MVP conversation for a large part of last season. I think if Daniel Jones gets paid and goes somewhere where he doesn't have a big time running back, I guess Miami's got Achane, but he's not a bell cow back. He's more of a scat back. I don't think Daniel Jones. I would much rather have Kyler Murray than Daniel Jones.
Text line also saying if I had Jerks and Profar steroids, I would be faster on the Peloton than Lance Armstrong. Yeah, I'll
913 says Bike Purdy or Bike Norris are 2 top contenders for Fletch to get on the Peloton.
Bike Norris isn't bad. All right, Draymond Green is in the news. Draymond Green, the podcast host, or Draymond Green, the basketball player? Don't ask me which one. But he has a quote going out there is saying, "All I see is media who crushed Nico regurgitating the same things that Nico Harrison was saying, talking about Luka Doncic." So Nico Harrison famously at this point traded away Luka Doncic, got back a bunch of nothing in return for the Dallas Mavericks. Nico Harrison has lost his job. On Luka's way out the door, talked about the fact that Luka was an alcoholic, that he was fat, couldn't stay in shape, and didn't play any defense. And now a bunch of media members are apparently saying Luka Doncic is fat, doesn't play any defense, and can't take a team to a championship. If you're watching Lakers basketball right now and you think Luka Doncic is the problem, I got something to sell you. It's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's not going to work very well. LeBron James is the problem. Draymond Green and LeBron James are buddies. That is why Draymond Green is saying stuff like this. Fair, Sammy? Lakers fan?
LeBron James not the sole problem.
He's a big problem.
His money, the money he takes up.
That's what I mean.
Right, because you can't fill out the rest of the roster. The Lakers don't have front court depth.
Hasn't Luka Doncic been to a finals?
Yeah, against Boston. He's been Western Conference Finals and went to the finals.
Didn't he play amazing in that stretch of games?
He did. And the finals, he wasn't great. But to get there, that team probably shouldn't have even got there. And when you look at the Lakers and Luka Doncic, whatever you think about Luka, let's just say you're one of these people that thinks Luka can't win because he doesn't play defense.
Dude's dropping like 40 a night.
I don't agree with that sentiment, but you're right to your opinion. I understand it is frustrating as a Lakers fan, Luka's lack of defensive prowess. But anyone sitting here defending what Nico Harrison did, do you realize that if he had just kept Luka Doncic and shut him down, him and Kyrie Irving down, they would have still been in the draft lottery, could have had Cooper Flagg, and you could have had Luka and Cooper Flagg for the next 10 years. You could have gotten Austin Reeves back in picks from the Lakers, except you got Anthony Davis and Max Christie. Max Christie's been good. Anthony Davis is now a Washington Wizard. So the trade was a colossal disaster. Everyone, because the Lakers are having a flawed couple weeks here, just selling their stock on Luka Doncic. This team is not built to play for Luka Doncic. And you're seeing that.
You ready for how good Luka Doncic is? Out of our sixth leg NBA parlay that we placed before the season, Luka Doncic is the only one currently hitting because he's averaging enough points. We are 0 for 5.
Do people when people say that he can't win in the playoffs, do people not understand that Luka Doncic, the only player who has averaged more points per game in postseason runs, is Michael Jordan, MJ, then Luka Doncic. So I think people are really overreacting to the Lakers being a flawed basketball team and losing some games here recently.
Man, it's like you personally offended the text line picking Iowa State last night. There's a lot of people.
You know what? SoCal Jayhawk just texted in, and I literally thought of you last night. I was watching the game, and I was like, SoCal Jayhawk is going to text me tomorrow and go, I told you, you were right. I'm sorry. I believed in Iowa State. That will never, ever happen again.
We got Kevin Acee coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by the West Automotive Group. Aztecs on the road taking on Boise State at 6 o'clock tonight. Schaefer will get you on the call starting at 6. Fletch will get you going pregame starting at 5. Boise State currently a slight home favored by 1.5. And the Lakers taking on the Pelicans tonight, live from Crypto in Los Angeles. Lakers trying to make it 3 straight before they take on Denver on Thursday. Lakers currently 8.5-point favorites to beat up on the Pelicans. At West Automotive Group, their philosophy is to never put money ahead of people, and their master certified technicians will only perform repairs you really need. Visit westautomotivegroup.com to book your appointment today. That's westautomotivegroup.com.
San Diego Sports 760. Aztecs on the road tonight. They got Boise State. Pregame coverage gets going at 5. John Schaefer's going to have the tip just after 6 o'clock. I saw John Schaefer on the internet last night. John Schaefer.
I saw him with his new podcast.
Was doing a little potty pod with Divine Sports Gospel and our next guest, our Padres insider, Kevin Acee. Kev, how'd that go? Did you feel free? Did you feel loose? Did you feel good with John Schaefer kind of taking you through everything?
Did I was immediately was going to be a great air traffic controller, and Matt is such a good guy. So listen, can you hear the speaker in the background?
I sure can, Kev. What is that? Are you at a Transformers convention or are you in Glendale?
I think you know where I'm at there, guy. Like, listen, don't be a smartass, okay? I don't go to Transformers conventions, okay? Here's the good news for me. Not for you so much with the speaker. The good news for me is Camelback Ranch. That's where the Dodgers and the White Sox share a facility, and they're not playing the Dodgers today, which means the ballpark is empty. So I can stand on the concourse and I can watch Nick Pivetta pitch. But I will get away from the speaker.
It's okay. You sound excellent, Kevin.
Proceed, Fletch.
All right, so they are playing the White Sox today. Nick Pivetta is on the mound, but I don't know that I necessarily care as much about that as I do about you, because has life gotten a little more boring with Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Mason Miller, Xander Bogaerts not being around the team?
Yeah, in one sense, there's just no way around that, right? I mean, those are the guys who you will be watching, writing, whatever. As a fan, as a member of the media, whatever, those are the guys, right? On the other hand, there's some competition, 5th starter, that kind of like last spot on the bench, be it an extra outfielder, extra infielder, kind of progression of Sun Moon Song, all sorts of things that those of us that are a little hardcore or, be paid to be hardcore, that we can get excited about this time of year. But yeah, look, like I said, no way around it. Not as lively, different vibe without the stars.
What do you make of the Verdugo signing for the Padres? Is he in the plans going forward? Is this kind of a shot in the dark?
He is not in the plans, which doesn't mean he couldn't be, but you're not planning on a guy who you brought in, you put in minor league camp, has really just sort of fallen off the edge of the earth, even against righties, where he used to be one of the better players in the league, better hitters in the league against righties. Now, I'm calling it less than a flyer, right? Like if Nick Castellanos is a flyer, right, then I don't know what to call Alex Verdugo. However, the guy is extremely talented. I'm assuming at 29, he's still talented, and we'll see.
It'd be nice if he could come up and give some valuable minutes, but Joe Musgrove, Kevin, is someone the Padres are absolutely counting on to be Joe Musgrove this year. Now, he's getting the start against Great Britain. Is that right, in the friendly? And what are the expectations for Joe there? Is it 3 innings? Is it 30 pitches? What's the expectations?
Yeah, I left that out. I'm excited to see. Yeah, Joe didn't want to even get out into a stadium until he could go 3. In his sim game, he essentially went 3. So, yeah, that would be really the best case scenario. Get into the 3rd, and, with the liberal rules in spring training, he's going to be able to do that, whether they need to pull him or whatever if things aren't going so well. I'm assuming those rules are still going to be in effect when you're playing international. But I think it's good. I mean, it's a big deal. Joe seems to be healthy. I got to tell you that a lot of guys have come back from Tommy John surgery, gone 150, 160, 170, even 180 And Joe's a veteran who's been up to 180, did it 2 years in a row, 2022 or 2021, 22. I'm expecting like Joe to have a good year because of who Joe is, but it's still a question. So I think every step he takes like this is exciting.
What player to you, Kevin, has really kind of jumped off, caught your eye? Could be a complete no-name player so far watching this team that we should keep our eye on moving forward.
I want to say Jace Bowen, who's leading off today, but is 0 for 2 and made an error. This doesn't mean that it's, not like, I think it was an error. I was waiting for you guys. It was down in the corner. I think it was a double and then an error. And the guy just ended up getting thrown out at home, by the way. So that was a good defensive play. But Jace Bowen, I said he just made an error, but everyone makes errors. He's a beautiful outfielder, former football player. Made it to AAA last year. He's a guy who's really stood out to me. But at different times, Samad Taylor. Jose Miranda just hit another double, man. I don't know where he fits on this team, but he can force himself on the roster. That's a guy who's hit in the major leagues and is having a really good, strong spring.
Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joining us like you will every Tuesday throughout Padres season this year. Kevin, I feel like you're starting to get to know Craig Stammen a little bit more, and I think you opened your most recent article with saying Craig Stammen's not afraid to try anything and never say no at a possibility. So what is going on with this leadoff spot? Because I would imagine you poll most Padres fans, they're going to say they want Fernando batting leadoff, but that doesn't seem near to being set in stone or even on pencil so far.
Right. The lineup is not something that's crowdsourced, as much as we all try to make it that way, right? It's hard to think of something that the media and fans make more a big deal of that probably isn't that big a deal, right? Like, it's a big deal, but it's like we make it like this is the determination, like every day's lineup gets a reaction. So I don't know. I don't think he's going to hit cleanup. I think that it's going to be a situational thing. It very well could be Jake Cronenworth against right-handers. Certainly would not be against left-handers, but could be against right-handers. There's an argument to be made there based on how he battles virtually every at-bat. His on-base percentage last year, some early years in his career, and then last year, the consistency that he had. There's an argument for Xander Bogaerts. There's arguments against both those guys. You name me a player, I'll make an argument for or against him. I'm very confident of that. There is not an obvious guy for that spot where I almost think like you go 2, yeah, 3, yeah, 4, yeah, 5, yeah. Like it makes sense. I don't know who the leadoff hitter is, and that's why I think it will be multiple guys. And more important than that, I don't think they know who the leadoff hitter is.
All right, Kev, before we let you go here and you can get back to Camelback Ranch or the Transformers convention, we're not sure which one as of right now. Last week, we finished out the interview talking about the ownership situation and what's going on. And you went up an octave and you said, well, maybe bids have hit the table. And then 30 minutes later, you had an article out that said bids have hit the table. So what do you want to hold out on us this week? And what do we know about what's going on?
We don't know anything. This is one of those that's just, you can't ever count on finding out what happens here. I don't know anything, guys. The only thing I consistently will tell you that I know is that the next ownership group will have more money than this one. What Padres fans need to be excited about is that, and then that excitement needs to be tempered by you don't know exactly what their commitment will be. But I would say that it'll be a good thing. I'm not slamming the Seidlers. I'm not at all. I'm just saying the fact is the next owner is going to be someone very rich.
Coming up in 30 minutes, go to the San Diego Union Tribune and see Kevin's article on why the Padres have been sold for how much money and who is the new owner. Thank you, Kevin.
Right on. Take care, guys.
All right, Kevin Acee, Padres insider, writes for the Union Tribune. Today, he was out at Camelback Ranch in Glendale. I have not been to that spring training facility. Have you been there, Sammy?
I have.
Is it pretty cool?
It's very very beautiful out there.
I'll tell you what, like minor league baseball, spring training baseball, they have it figured out for the fan experience a little bit better, I think, than even Major League ballparks.
Oh yeah, because you can sit wherever.
You sit
wherever. Right down top.
Beer's cheaper, drinks are cheaper. I haven't been out to spring training in years and years. I'm really excited to go out this year. But I do think that they have it figured out a little bit better in terms of the fan experience, simply because you don't have to have as many seats and everyone's a little bit closer. But man, like the Lake Elsinore Storm games are awesome. I grew up going to Modesto Nuts games. They're incredible. Even the Fresno Grizzlies had a pretty awesome stadium or ballpark there at Chuck Chansey Field, I think it was called. But spring training is fun, man. I can't wait to go out in a couple weeks. You're going next week, yeah?
I'm going next week, Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
That'll be cool, man. Looking forward to that. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Coming up next, we got long shots plus an eventful night at the Fletcher House. I'll let you in on a little secret coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for the Valley View Casino and Hotel. Sammy Long, let me ask you this. How much would $25,000 do for you right now?
It'd do a lot for me, Fletch.
It'd do a lot for you right now? You'd like that? That's something you'd be into?
I would like it.
Well, coming up on Friday, March 13th, it's not a scary Friday the 13th. No. You could spin to win $250,000. One of 10 guests who's going to spin the wheel to win $25,000 each. Get on out to the Valley View Casino and Hotel for Dave's $250,000 weekend windfall. 10 guests could walk away with 25 grand each. Plus, more play is going to be given away throughout the night. That's free slot play. You can earn entries all month long into Dave's weekend windfall by just playing slots with your Players Club card. Get to Valley View Casino and Hotel today. Sign up for the Players Club, become a member, and you're immediately going to get $200 worth of sign-up bonuses, including $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 a match play, which is free table game play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, and the list goes on and on and on. Plus, when you upgrade from red card to blue card status, you're going to get 2 free Maine lobster buffets when you upgrade your card. The more you use your Players Club card at all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino and Hotel coming up on March 13th for Dave's $250,000 weekend windfall. And join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. The new Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park is now open, so you can get up close and roam alongside the world's largest animals. No, it's not Travis Dale. It's elephants. All week long, we have chances for you to win a family 4-pack of tickets to go see the Elephant Valley. The elephants aren't the only ones who will never forget the Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. It's brand new. It's huge. And you can win a 4-pack of tickets. What was that time I said, Sammy? Was it 1:15?
It's 1:15.
1:15 is the time for you to call 877-767-4760. That way, the folks who are listening on the free iHeartRadio app have a chance, just like everyone listening terrestrial. I will say this. Something very cool happened last night, Sammy. Something very, very cool happened last night, and you don't even know about this yet. And it has to do with us, you and me.
It has to do with us.
All right. So if you were listening to the morning show this morning, you know I made a pretty big purchase last night. I bought myself a new truck. Very excited about it. It's beautiful.
Very sleek. Applause for Fletch. Snaps for Fletch.
Look, it's a used truck. I got an excellent deal on it, and a huge shout out to the folks over at Maverick Toyota, which is the newest Toyota dealership here, I believe. It's in Lemon Grove, just off of the 8 freeway. But Nathan took care of me. Elon took care of me. All the sales staff over there were great. However, when I bought this truck, Sammy, I get in it to drive it home. And on my way home, I look at whatever the previous owner's presets were on the little tab. Number 1 preset was San Diego Sports 760.
Yes, sir.
Number 2 preset was 1015 KGB. So whoever had this truck before I purchased it, I think was listening to some iteration of me and Sammy all day long, every day.
Well, you were talking about getting this truck yesterday. So maybe they were like, Ben Fletcher needs this truck now, and went and sold it.
Well,
so you could have it.
I mean, I saw this truck posted on their website like last week, and then I spent the last
way to kill the story
5 days convincing my wife to let me buy it. And so I don't know that that's possible, but I think whoever had the truck before I just bought it was a listener. So shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
You kept the truck in excellent shape. I'm very, very happy with it. It's beautiful, man. I'm so stoked. I've wanted this truck since I was like 16 years old. So thank you to whoever owned it previously. And it's even cooler that you're a listener. All right, Sammy, I just spent a lot of money last night, so I need to make some money here. I don't know if we go back to another 2Z.
No, we got a 3Z tonight. I got a very tasty parlay coming for everybody.
3Z, this is a problem, man. All right, here we go. Sammy, go ahead, smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Say that me and his man.
with long shots.
Text line up reacting to the fact that Acee, he looks like a dude who would go to a Transformers convention.
He would go to a Transformers convention.
Kevin Acee, have you ever seen him before? That was not an out of bounds question. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was good too.
913 saying Fletch, no more Tacoma. Yeah, the Tacoma got traded in. Had 217,000 miles on it. That's a life well lived by a truck, but we will survive. Sammy, where are we going?
We got 3 picks tonight. SoCal Jayhawks sending in selections, and actually, I had some of these selections already lined up, ready to go.
Yeah, right.
No, I did.
Yeah, right. You're just going with SoCal's picks.
SoCal. No, listen. Nebraska, UCLA tonight. UCLA, 1.5 point home favorite in this one. UCLA has burned us bad this year on long shots. They got cooked by Michigan. They got cooked by Michigan State. They are a 1.5 point favorite at home. Okay, I get that Nebraska's coming out to Los Angeles. It's a night game, 8 o'clock, weird time change for the Cornhuskers. Let's not overthink this. The Cornhuskers are the better team. They're ranked 9th in the country. They have 4 players who average in double digits, and Hoiberg averages 9.8. So they got 5 guys who are basically in double digits. UCLA is odd. I mean, the only reason I think people are starting to get a little bit higher on them is because they had a big win over number 10 Illinois a week ago. This team, though, that came off a Donovan Dent game winner. They should have lost that game. Mick Cronin, I don't like what I'm seeing from UCLA, and they've had enough tough opposition where they were they were due to get one big win, and that was over Illinois. Nebraska on the road getting points plus 1.5. That feels like a smash to me. Give me Nebraska plus 1.5. Trying to move up to that 2 seed line for March Madness. Right now, they're currently the top 3 seed. All right, KU, Arizona State. Tough game. It's out in Arizona, out in Tempe. Arizona State is on the cut line. I am going to roll with the Jayhawks minus 5.5. I think this is a pretty close game at half. I would not panic if it's early. Arizona State scores a lot of points. They average about 78 to 79 points per game. Here's the biggest problem, the difference with the teams, is they allow about 78 points per game. And every time Arizona State has stepped up in competition in the Big 12, they have lost. Outside of Texas Tech, that's the one big win they got a week ago. I don't believe JT Toppin actually ended up playing in that game. So Arizona State had a big win over Texas Tech. They've lost to Arizona multiple times. They've lost to Houston. Every top-tier team in the Big 12 they've lost to. Kansas coming off a brutal performance out in Arizona. I believe they stayed there over the weekend, so it shouldn't be much of a travel factor. Give me KU -5.5 playing Arizona State. Buries Arizona State's chances at an at-large bid. Kansas needs to get back in the Big 12 picture. Darren Peterson, Melvin Council, Floyd Badunga. There's just too much talent on this Kansas team for them to not win this one. So give me KU -5.5. All right, so far, so we got Nebraska +1.5, taking on UCLA, Kansas -5.5. We're heading to the association. I'm surprised. We're getting some serious value with this one right now. Knicks Raptors. Knicks 2.5-point favorites on the road. Knicks are a damn good basketball team, and they've been playing better. They dismantled the Spurs over the weekend, held the Spurs to 89 points, the best defensive effort the New York Knicks have put out so far this season. Coming off a week before that, they actually had an 18-point comeback against the Houston Rockets. But give me Toronto at home +2.5. Toronto is a very good basketball team. People are not paying attention to the Raptors. They're kind of that lost team there in the Eastern Conference. Everyone talks about the Knicks, talk about the Celtics, the Pistons, the Sixers, all these teams. The Raptors have a really good team. I mean, you got Brandon Ingram, who's been an absolute star this year, kind of what been playing what the Lakers thought they were getting when they drafted him and then ended up trading him away. Scotty Barnes is one of the best two-way players in the association, averages about 20 points per game, and is always one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to take advantage of this on the road. The Knicks are obviously a fan favorite team in the NBA. This is what has moved the money to where the Knicks are 2.5-point favorites on the road. Raptors quietly been playing good basketball recently. Narrow loss to Oklahoma City, narrow loss to the Spurs. I think they finally crack through and get a win against big-time opposition. And they have the defense. They're going to put Scotty Barnes on Jalen Brunson all night. No one's going to be able to guard Brandon Ingram. So give me at home the Raptors +2.5. All right, so to recap, we got Nebraska on the road +1.5, taking on UCLA. Give me Nebraska. Kansas on the road in Arizona State. Give me -5.5 the Kansas Jayhawks. They're just the more talented team. And the Raptors +2.5 at home against the New York Knicks. I think the books have a little too much bias from what we saw last Saturday with the Knicks bludgeoning the San Antonio Spurs.
I like it. Sammy's going to make us all money. #faith in Sammy, although the 619 saying Sammy must be held accountable for the Iowa State.
I've been taking accountability. I'm sorry.
858.
My bank account hurts too.
My strategy has been to fade the worst three teams playing in the NBA each night, and it's been cooking. Nets, Wizards, and Pelicans all on the road tonight. Lock it in. Should I also place that and see what does better?
I like that. I like that.
Are you just taking them straight up or
no?
Spread? What are you doing, 858?
I think against the spread. The one thing I would say is my Lakers tonight are playing the Pelicans. Big number, 8.5. The Lakers are going to win. I would not be surprised if this is a close game tonight.
Do we believe in Sammy?
By the way, you were giving me flack all weekend for my 1 for 4. And remember when you said you were like, we're going to bet the Warriors against the Lakers on Saturday night. Lakers beat them by 30.
That's cool for the Lakers.
Just want to point out, if we're holding people accountable.
It's San Diego Sports 760. Hour number 2 is coming up next, along with your opportunity to win those Elephant Valley tickets. Plus, a new sport is coming to Las Vegas. We'll get into it a little bit, and we got a new top 5 to debut. I'm excited about this top 5 because some idiots on the internet released the worst. I just dropped my coffee mug.
Everyone in San Diego heard.
You're welcome, San Diego. Some idiots on the internet, I think it was like some college kids trying to do a senior project, ranked the hardest sports, and they're wrong. They're very, very wrong. So Sammy and I are going to do it better.
Text us your top 5 hardest sports, 70470. Start your message with team. Every sport is on the table.
Mm-hmm. Like bowling was on this list. So
bowling's tough.
Oh, it's really tough. It should be higher than it is. There's one sport that's near the bottom that I'm like, what the hell are we talking about right now? What the hell are we talking about? You'll find out coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by the Brad versus Everyone podcast. Aztecs back tonight on the road, taking on Boise State. Boise State currently a slight favorite at home, favored by 1.5. Schaefer will get you on the call starting at 6, and Fletch will get you going pregame starting at 5. Lakers back tonight as well. Looking to go on a 3-game win streak. New Orleans Pelicans coming to Los Angeles to take on the Lake Show. Pelicans currently 8.5-point underdogs in that one. Dangerous social media trends, media scandals, dumb TikTok boycotts, and more. Keep up with all the online stories mainstream media ignores by listening to the Brad versus Everyone podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
Sound off like you got a pair.
As we gear up for the World Baseball Classic, does the U.S. have to win it all?
Yeah.
The Aztecs are back on the road against Boise State in the second-to-last game of the regular season. And could the Jets really trade up for the Raiders' #1 pick? We have live reaction from Fernando Mendoza.
No, God, please, no, 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 no.
Plus the picks.
Every time we start with a Tuesday, we build up.
Oh, going light today.
Iowa State on the road in Arizona, plus 7.5. Give us the Cyclones.
What in the world? Well, that wasn't even close.
Under 215.5 in the point total for Milwaukee and Boston.
50% isn't terrible.
Hey, great second half. Great second half, baby. Nice job.
We're staying positive today. Let's go live to the San Diego Sports 760 studios, in depth with the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Jonathan Rifkin is going to be filling in for John Schaefer today from 2 until 5, which is what I'll take back over for pregame on the San Diego State broadcast. John Schaefer will have tip-off coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. Aztecs, Broncos, we'll get you a little preview of that game coming up in just a bit. Well, we have breaking news to start off the hour. How about that? Breaking news in the NFL. Kyler Murray released by the Arizona Cardinals. So Kyler Murray has a tweet out as we speak. He says, to everyone that supported me and showed me kindness to me and my family during our time in Arizona, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I wanted nothing more than to be the one to end the 77-year drought for this organization. I'm sorry I failed us. I wish this community and my brothers nothing but the best. I'm no stranger to adversity. I'm prepared for whatever's next. And then he says Godspeed. So Kyler Murray.
And they said barring a trade. So they're still looking to trade him. And then they will release him at the start of the league new year.
Well, he has to be released before the start of the new league year. Otherwise, there's some absurd amount of money that just gets direct deposited into his bank account. So Kyler Murray will not be an Arizona Cardinal next season. That's what we've learned. And what does that mean for him and his future landing spots? Is it Miami? Is it Pittsburgh?
I think he's a hot commodity.
Is he a starter next year?
Easy. Definitely.
Easy?
Yeah. I mean, let's look at teams that need quarterbacks. Jets, Miami. Who are we missing here? Well, Arizona, obviously.
Pittsburgh.
He's leaving Pittsburgh. I mean, Kyler immediately goes.
The Colts could always kind of use a quarterback.
The Colts could use a quarterback if Daniel Jones is not back. I mean,
the Vikings seem to be done with JJ McCarthy.
I think they're giving him another look. You can't move off
with all the reports from this offseason. Like JJ watches SportsCenter as much as the rest of us. I think a lot of them say, "Are the Vikings done with JJ McCarthy?"
But we talk about how the Vikings front office is a joke for letting Darnold go. The one thing that they're holding on to is that maybe McCarthy has a second year boom, and they're relying on the fact that he's been injured the last couple of years. If you dump him for somebody, I mean, I think they could bring someone as competition like Murray be interesting, but I think Murray becomes a starter somewhere, a legit starter somewhere, and really has the opportunity to be the next Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. Kyler Murray was a star for Arizona for a while there. And did everything go according to plan? No. Did he always seem to be the most focused per reports at times? No. But the Arizona Cardinals, look at what happens when quarterbacks go from bad organizations like the Jets and the Panthers. Darnold becomes a star with the Seahawks. Baker Mayfield is with the Browns, bad organization, goes to Tampa as a superstar. Kyler Murray has the talent to be a superstar in this league. And if I'm Pittsburgh, if I'm Miami, I think there's a bidding war for him.
Well, as we sit right here, right now, the favorites for Kyler Murray have just come out. The number one favorite for the former Arizona Cardinal quarterback is the Minnesota Vikings. Number two, New York Jets. They're differentiated by less than a couple points. Miami 3, Atlanta 4, Indy 5, Cleveland 6, Pittsburgh 7, Las Vegas 8.
7.
And Las Vegas is where it jumps off a cliff. So if it is Las Vegas somehow, you're getting $1 million for like $10.
Could you imagine though if Vegas decided to go in a different direction and sign Kyler Murray and traded the pick to the Jets for Mendoza? It's pure hypothetical. But if you believe in Kyler Murray that he could be something, and you traded that pick away, you don't believe in Mendoza. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that'd be pretty ballsy from the Raiders. And if it didn't work out, you'd be picking top of the draft next year with a loaded quarterback class.
I'm with you. I'm a little surprised the Vikings are first, but it does, like, by all reports, it seems like they're kind of out on JJ McCarthy.
How is Pittsburgh that far down?
I don't know.
Because
that's as of right now on the app that I use.
Pittsburgh has been looking for a young quarterback for years. So if I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan,
maybe that means everyone's thinking they're bringing Aaron back for another year.
But if I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, I would lose my mind bringing back Aaron Rodgers on a team that's not winning a Super Bowl versus taking a shot on a Kyler Murray who could be a franchise quarterback and is coming on the cheap.
Right. But I think logic would tell you Kyler Murray probably gets you maybe one more win than Aaron Rodgers, but still isn't enough to win a Super Bowl. So I don't get the Aaron Rodgers keeping him either, but I would imagine these odds are telling you that Pittsburgh is either going to bring back Aaron Rodgers or they're going to try to tank. And I think that trying to tank would be a lot smarter than bringing back Aaron Rodgers.
That one that you said that snuck in there is Atlanta.
Atlanta is interesting.
Atlanta's interesting because
Penix is always hurt and they have a loaded roster, and Kyler Murray, for whatever you want to say about him, the dude is as mobile as anybody in the NFL and he can throw a pretty deep ball. And Drake London's a pretty good deep ball wide receiver.
And Stefanski didn't draft Penix. So Stefanski's sitting there going, this isn't my guy. They'd love to have Michael Penix work. The organization put a lot of resources into him, But Kyler Murray with that offense, I mean, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, if Kyle Pitts is back, looks like he's getting hit with the franchise tag. I mean, that's a place that you could go win, and you're in a division where you don't see a lot of threats. I mean, Tampa Bay could be on the downturn. They have a lot of aging players. We'll see with the Saints, Tyler Shucks, if he becomes something, but the Saints aren't a contending team right now. I mean, there's some opportunity there in Atlanta. Miami, had Tyreek not gotten hurt and Waddle and that whole crew was still there, would be interesting. But I think it just goes, if you're Kyler, do you want to make the most money and go to a terrible team and they're going to overpay you because they want to sell tickets, or are you going to take a shot and, to the point you were making, go to a Minnesota, try to beat McCarthy out for the job, go to Atlanta, try to beat Penix out for the job, and see if you can take over with better weapons, i.e. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Drake London, Bijan Robinson.
What's kind of fascinating is Kalshi will show you the app I use for markets. It'll show you where all the money's coming in at any given time. And a month ago, for Kyler Murray's next team, 99% of the public money coming in was on the Jets. And then it's just switched. And this is the first time more money has come in on Minnesota than anybody else.
Now, if I'm the Jets, here's what I'm doing. I'm trading the number 2 pick for first next year from another team that I think is going to be terrible. I'm signing Kyler Murray to see if you could somehow get a franchise quarterback, because he does have the ability to become that. But then again, if he doesn't win, you have a big time pick from a team that you look at that'll be picking at the top of the draft next year. The problem, if you're the Jets, if you're hoping
you want to take the risk of a 8-win season, 9-win season,
because Kyler will win you some games. Yeah. Kyler's not going to bottom out like a lot of these quarterbacks are.
It's been a problem in Arizona that he hasn't bottomed out. In fact, they've had years where they've started out looking like playoff teams, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the season, Kyler
619 said Kyler letting everyone know it's been a 77-year drought had me dying.
Dude, it's kind of cold on the way out.
That's a great point.
It's kind of cold on the way out. All right, let's get to the big 3 here of hour number 2. We got some Aztecs talk coming up in a little bit, and then a sporting event that nobody's talking about, but we're going to coming up in about 10 minutes. Sammy, go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
484. Here I thought Fletch was a pushover, but he got the wife a stationary bike to butter her up before getting himself a truck. Not all superheroes wear capes. 484. If my wife wasn't working right now, no shot I'm reading that text, but you are reading straight through what I did.
Oh, please. You didn't put that kind of thinking into this. Let's stop. Let's not give yourself enough credit. No, this is how this went.
That is exactly the thought process.
Kendall's like, hey, I need you to go get me this Peloton bike in Long Beach. Okay, yeah. So you go get the Peloton bike, and then you're like, hey, could I get a truck?
Dude, it took some work to get the approval on the truck, but it happened.
Tyler agrees that, so I agree with Sammy. Kyler Murray will be a starter next year. I think Kyler Murray is a solid starter somewhere.
I think so. Curious who it's going to be, though, man. All right, Sammy, where do you want to go?
Let's head to March Madness real quick. So, Coach K says the expansion of March Madness. There's been a lot of talk about, with college football playoff expansion, then March Madness expanding to 72 teams, 76. There's been a lot. Some people even throw out the idea of like a 100-team bracket. I think that is absolutely absurd, but that's what some people have thrown out. Coach K, though, says expanding the March Madness field would be a massive mistake. Reaction to Coach K's comments.
I agree 100%. And there's not much throughout his career that I've disagreed with Coach K, outside of the fact that he coached for Duke, which is easily one of my most hated schools ever. But Coach K is one of the brightest minds ever to think about basketball. Coach K is the best that we've ever had at the national level of being a coach. Coach K is one of the best coaches, if not the best coach of my lifetime. I think Coach K is spot on because Coach K understands how special it is to be a March Madness team. There are schools around the country who hang a banner for making March Madness tournaments because it happens so rarely. Of course, there's the blue bloods who are in it every year, and it feels like they don't even have to have that good of a season to get in. But you know how special it is for some teams just to play in a single March Madness game? You are taking away some of that special if you're expanding the field. It's hard to get into March Madness. The Aztecs have a very good team this year. They may not be in March Madness. So I think that expanding it, making it easier to get in, takes away from the special of it. And also, college basketball takes over the world for a month. That's all anyone in sports cares about. And you want to do something different? It's dumb. Why would you want to change anything up?
Well, the criticism of college basketball, and as someone who loves college basketball, Fletch, I know you do too, but is that a lot of the regular season is meaningless. That's the criticism. That's what
I disagree. Maybe at the powers level,
right?
Sure.
But if you play Kansas, Duke, or North Carolina,
that's not what people love about college basketball, though. People love the Cinderellas.
But but the brands that push college basketball, that make college basketball watchable during the regular season, are those brands that are getting into the NCAA tournament. I'm saying this is what people who critique college basketball say. Now, if you're the Aztecs, you're on the cut line. Every game has really mattered the last month because you've been right there. If you're USC, if you're Arizona State, if you're Ohio State, these games have come down the stretch here. But that is the criticism of college basketball for people who don't watch the first couple months.
Isn't the argument expanding the field would make it even more meaningless?
That's what I was getting to. Why would you add more teams? So the critics of college basketball who goes, I don't care about college basketball in November and December, which is fair. I get why a lot of people think that because it does. If you're not a fan of a team that's on the cut line, there's not a lot of urgency when you know that in all likelihood, the chances of Duke missing the tournament is slim to none, even though it's fun to get into the nerd of it, of what seed line they're going to be and all that. A lot of people don't tune in until later in the year. Why March Madness and Championship Weekend is some of the best weeks in sports. Expanding the field just takes that away. College football needs to expand because you need more games. You need more challenge at the top. College basketball expanding to add in 80 teams. There's always going to be, if they go to 78 teams, there's always going to be a 79th team. If they go to 90 teams, there's going to be a 91st team. And at some point, you are completely depressing the college basketball regular season. And I think that would be a shame.
If I'm being honest, I don't even need the first 4 games. I honestly think it's kind of a waste. I would rather the number just be cut off at 64. If you don't make it,
reduce the field.
Yeah, we'll just keep it to what it actually is. Does anyone watch the Tuesday, Wednesday games of the first week? I think people do. Unless you're invested in one of those teams, no.
I think people watch the 11s who they might pick because they're competing. But
the first 2 days of the March Madness tournament now are largely afterthoughts, unless like last year San Diego State was in one of those games, so you're rooting for the Aztecs in that game. But for the most part, it's like the tournament starts on the Thursday, and everyone's kind of okay with that.
Right, and no one needs to see when the 16 seeds are playing. I mean, that's just first victim. That's what that is. The 11 seeds. Unless the 11 and 12s can be fun. Listen, if you are going to expand the field, I would not do it. I'd actually go different than you. I would let them into the first 4 and make the first 4 take out the 16 seed games, because I'm sorry, I don't need to see that. I don't really care about it outside of the fact that I'm excited March Madness is back, and put all these teams on the bubble in there and see if they can win 4 straight games or 3 straight games on opening weekend to make it out of it. That would be interesting, but expanding the field, I feel like is just, I don't know.
Dumb, silly, stupid. All right, let's get one more in here, Sammy.
Okay, so I don't know if you saw, Luka and JJ Redick were beefing on Saturday. JJ Redick Luka was walking off the floor. JJ Redick said something to Luka Doncic. Luka brushed him off, went and sat at the other end of the bench. JJ Redick then walked down, said another thing to him. He turns around and walks away. Luka gets up. Jared Vanderbilt gets in the way and basically calms Luka down. As of a report as of right now, the viral sideline exchange, quote, much to do about nothing, and the relationship is strong. Looking at that clip, what is your reaction to that? Because personally, I actually like that.
There's a little fire back and forth?
Yeah.
So do I. That's why, it's the same reason I didn't kill Travis Kelce when he got in Andy Reid's face.
Outside the fact that he shoved him, that was pretty BS.
Well, still, you're talking about the most competitive environments in the world. I love this out of Luka. I think Luka is a competitor, man. He doesn't play much defense, but Luka is one of the best basketball players alive, and he's probably saying, can we start building this freaking thing around me? Can we stop whatever this is? Because it ain't working.
To compare this to the Padres, JJ Redick, the question mark when the Lakers signed him was, is this LeBron's puppet? Is this LeBron got him hired? Is he going to even go after the stars? Darvin Ham, the last Lakers head coach, was awful at this. He would not challenge any star whatsoever. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, he was basically sitting there as a passive head coach. I like that JJ Redick set the standard that whether you're LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and you're getting paid atop the marquee, or you're a Theoro or Jared Vanderbilt or Luke Kennard sitting at the end of the bench, that no one is above the law. No one is above coaching. I love this. They're two competitive, JJ Redick, former athlete, Luka, athlete now. They're competitive. They care. I like that they're getting into it. I think people blow this way out of proportion when we see athletes get heated. And looking at Craig Stammen's very similar to JJ Redick, a guy who has not had a lot of experience managing or coaching in their respective sports. I hope that when we see the Padres get going, Craig Stammen is not afraid to get in Manny Machado's face or Fernando Tatis's face, because it sets a marker for the team that people care. And going down the bench, you can coach Jake Cronenworth the same you can coach Fernando Tatis. I think it sends a good message.
Phone lines are lit. Now is the time to call 877-767-4760 if you want to go see the new Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. Caller number 7 is getting a family 4-pack of tickets. Coming up next, something nobody's talking about, but maybe they should be. That's on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. We got a top 5 list coming for you up in about 10 minutes. We're ranking the top 5 hardest sports. There's a text that I absolutely agree with on this, Sammy. And there's a list that I absolutely do not agree with coming up in just a little bit. But hey, the new Elephant Valley at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park is now open. Who just won those tickets?
John.
Big John.
Jay Money's going to the show.
Jay Money. I don't know if it's a show as much as it is
it could be a show.
Chance for you to walk around with elephants. I do know Rich Ornberger is there right now. Travis Dale is
hard at work.
Later
hard
tonight.
At work.
They're checking out some elephants. Rich said he's going to try to ride one of them. I don't know if that's allowed.
First off, Rich is too big to ride an elephant.
You know how big an elephant is there?
Yeah, but that elephant is going to be like, I mean, damn, like, whew.
It'd be light
Can we
work.
get someone a little lighter on here?
Well, then Travis Dale probably shouldn't be that person either.
Yeah, Travis Dale should definitely not be that person.
Just throw Cat up there. She'll be okay.
Yeah, Cat, they'd probably be okay with.
All right. If you have not heard of the Enhanced Games, the Enhanced Games is coming up in May. Are you telling me to turn on our stream?
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
yeah.
YouTube. There we go. We're back. San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube, by the way. Enhanced Games is coming up in May in Las Vegas, which the Las Vegas part sounds pretty cool to me. The Enhanced Games parts, honestly, if you haven't heard of it, it is what you think it is. They're taking Olympic events, swimming, weightlifting, track and field, and they're letting everyone who's competing in them do steroids for them. Testosterone replacement therapy.
Get that juice, baby.
Human growth hormone. If it's legal in the rules of this, you can take it and you can use it. And then they're offering incentives for you to break world records. So if you break a world record, you're getting a bonus of like $1 million. And there's grand prizes to go along with it. Some seriously deep pockets behind this event coming up in Las Vegas. Here's what I think is cool about it. We're essentially pushing the limit. What was that?
Sorry, never mind.
It's okay. It almost worked. We're pushing the limit of what human beings can do. And steroids are not the same in 2026 as they were in 1999 when the home run race was going on between Bonds and Sosa and McGuire. Or I guess that was McGuire and Sosa. Bonds came along later. But it's not the same stuff. These aren't sketchy back alley craziness with steroids. No, this is doctor admitted. This is by the rules permitted steroid usage. And I think this is actually really cool. And I'm excited to watch it. Here's why I think the morality of everybody gets into this, because you're saying, oh, well, you're taking sports, which is all about fairness and rules and making sure that everyone's on an even playing field. And you're saying, screw that. I would rather the athletes who, let's be honest, it's not like Olympic athletes don't get busted every single year for doping or blood thinning or adding human growth hormone. They get busted year in and year out. And they're saying, all right, we're going to keep this all
They're
above
being
board.
honest about it.
If you're going to do it and go break some world records. Let's see what the human body can do.
I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
Always tell the truth. I think this is cool, man. I'm actually kind of into this. You're going to hear both sides. There's going to be people probably protesting this in the streets of Las Vegas. I actually think this is kind of awesome. And now you're seeing some Olympic gold medalist swimmer for the United States has committed to doing this because he said, well, my body is not good enough anymore to go compete in Olympic swimming if I wanted to.
So it's for older athletes.
This is another chance. This is so the Lindsey Vonns of the world don't just disappear after they're done with the Olympics. We get to see people come back, and maybe this gives them a second chance because it's not like you're making a bunch of money doing the Olympics. You're not. This is an opportunity for you to go out and break world records, make $1 million, because in order to get to this point where you'd even be able to be considered for these games, you already have to be an elite athlete. This is just helping you recover a little better. I think this is great.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the steroids. There's a lot of, real. Now, the problem with the steroids is that because there's been a lot of discussion of should professional athletes, especially baseball players, because it's such a long season, if all it's doing is helping you rest and recover, is that a good thing? Now, on the flip side, there are some long-term effects of being on steroids that you take after the playing career is over that has certainly deteriorated some people who have used them before.
It comes with the sketchy back alley deals. The caveat for these enhanced games, these are all doctor administered. They're not supposed to, I'm sure they do have long-term effects, but they're supposed to be less.
The only thing if you're an athlete competing in this is that everyone's just going to say, like, a bodybuilder on steroids is obviously going to be able to lift more than anyone who's ever lifted. So are you really breaking records? It's just going to be a new kind of league, because are you really breaking records on people who, quote, weren't on steroids beforehand when they competed?
Ultimately, it's going to be kind of cool to watch. I'd make a trip out to Vegas to see.
Why don't you get on some steroids and get on that Peloton bike?
See, I've been thinking about steroids for a few years now, but here's the problem.
You have to work out to do steroids.
Exactly right. So that's the thing that everybody, when they talk smack about McGuire or a Sosa or a Bonds, I'm saying, okay, but the part of the conversation that needs to be in is steroids weren't just a magical serum that all of a sudden made them be able to read pitches better. Like Barry Bonds also had the greatest eye of all time in the batter's box.
Well, yeah, it's not about it making you a better player. It's about that you recover faster than other athletes.
He also maybe had the best hand-eye coordination of all time, and then he used steroids to help him hit the ball a little farther.
So I don't have a problem with steroids. I guess the other thing of it now, not in like football or a sport like boxing and the UFC are massive issues because if you have a fighter who's on steroids, they can punch harder. I mean, it's a dangerous sport to begin with, boxing, UFC. If guys are on steroids, that's a real problem. There's like life-threatening consequences with that. Baseball is such a long season, but right, it doesn't mean that you can hit the ball better, but I guess the thing of, isn't that part of sports, that how you recover, how you deal with, I mean, think of the most iconic sports moments. Michael Jordan flu game. That goes down in lore because they were dealing with something that he had to overcome.
Sure. And
that's a part of sports too.
And can you imagine a Saquon Barkley, his quads on steroids? I mean, we'd be dealing with an alien is what you'd be dealing with. But I think this is kind of awesome. And I'm excited to see how it goes.
Were you seriously considering taking steroids?
No, I've never actually considered taking steroids because I don't, what would it do for me? Like, I don't lift weights. I don't know.
615's asking, are we sure that the Peloton bike will even power up?
No, not yet.
No. He's not asking yet. Will it ever power up?
Well, if its function is to be a towel holder,
so disrespectful with Peloton.
No, my wife has already used it a couple times without the screen.
Right, so she's on there getting her grind on, and you're sitting on the couch.
It's her Peloton. I wasn't home at all yesterday. We've had it for 24 hours, basically.
I expect to see a post of you tonight riding on the Peloton.
I'm not going to be home tonight.
Feels like a lot of excuses are being made right now.
Tomorrow. I think the power cord should be back at the house tomorrow.
You are the kind of guy that would be shooting up steroids and not working out on the bike.
I will jump on the Peloton bike tomorrow. Does that make everyone happy? 858 says, lies. We need a juicer division in all combat sports. 1,000,000%. Okay. So for the UFC, like, the argument would be to help out with recovery in between fights so you can fight more often, right? But what happens when you have a juice dude throwing punches that could literally kill somebody?
Well, that was the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney thing. Is Ryan Garcia was on some sauce. So now he was whooping him. I mean, he kept hitting him with a left hook all night. The steroids didn't do that, but did the power from his shots from the steroids really affect Devin Haney in a way that shouldn't have affected him?
Top 5 most difficult sports. There is a scientific study out on the top 5 most difficult sports, and I think it's baloney. We'll give our top 5s. We'll give your top 5s. Get them in on the text line 70470. Start your message with the word team. That's coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Wellness Unmasked with Dr. Nicole Sapphire. Aztecs tonight, 6 o'clock on the road, taking on Boise State. We got it right here on San Diego Sports 760. Schaefer will get you on the call, started at 6. Fletch gets you on the call, started at 5 with the pregame. Lakers back tonight as well at 7:30, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, led by Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. Lakers 8.5-point favorites in that one. Medical headlines, they're everywhere, but what do they really mean? Join Dr. Nicole Sapphire on Wellness Unmasked for a deeper look, plus the latest from the Maha movement. Listen to Wellness Unmasked with wherever you get your podcasts.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Jonathan Rifkin's going to be able to take over then. All right. ESPN put this out. This is page 2 is the company that put this on. To put it in perspective, it's a yellow web page that takes up half the screen that has a bunch of words on it. And then a spreadsheet, a list, a ranking of what sport is the most difficult sport. And they claim this is from a panel of 8 experts made up of a sports scientist from the United States Olympic Committee, academians who study the science of muscles and movement, a 2-star sport athlete, and a panel of journalists who spend their professional lives watching athletes succeed and fail. Those are the people who were polled for this. They were asked to give a 1 through 10 ranking on each sport for each category. The categories were endurance, strength, power, speed, agility, flexibility, nerve, durability, hand-eye coordination, and analytic aptitude. Those are the categories.
Okay.
So
do you have your top 5? Or should we read their top 5 first?
We did not. Sammy and I did not go 1 through 10 on every single category and then average things out and come up with the top 5 together. I have a top 5. Sammy has a top 5. Here are their top 5. Boxing number 1, ice hockey 2, football 3, basketball 4, wrestling 5. And then martial arts is actually number 6. So It got in there. Here's something interesting. The last one, by the way, is fishing. Fishing is very bottom on there. There's 60.
Shout out to the fishers.
60 sports total. Apparently fishing comes in dead last. Golf came in 51st place. I'm going to say this. 0 people on that panel have ever played golf before.
All right. So what's your top 5? We got a bunch rolling in right now on the text line 70470. Start your message with team.
Keep them coming in. We'd love to hear from you on this. Give us your top 5. My top 5. Okay. Are we going 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
5 to 1.
5 to 1. My number 5 most difficult sport for someone to do is going to be football.
Okay. I'm going to go hockey at 5 because you are skating. It's a physical sport. It's a technical sport. But the reason I knock it down a little bit is there are a lot of line changes and you're never really on the ice for more than 1 to 2 minutes at a time. But it is an extremely physical sport. Hockey at 5.
That's why football was as low as it was for me at number 5, because while I think it's incredibly physically demanding, every play lasts about 11 seconds. So football was at 5 for me. Number 4 is going to be baseball, actually, because I think one of the hardest things to do in the world is hit a little rock that's coming at you 95 to 104 miles per hour at any given time. I think that the level of dexterity, hand-eye coordination, analytical aptitude, or whatever else they were being graded on, baseball is an incredibly tough sport. And so it belongs at number 4 to me.
I'm putting MMA at number 4. MMA is an extremely brutal sport. Obviously, it's one of the most dangerous, that in boxing, because guys are putting their life on the line to go fight. We've seen, unfortunately, terrible things happen in rings and octagons. But the reason I knock it down a little bit is because it is only 25 minutes. Boxing is 36. And when you look at scientific research and some of the big knockouts the UFC has, it's not really as dangerous to get a flash massive KO as it is for repeated hits to the head like boxing has. I think I'm going to go number 4, MMA fighting.
Number 3 for me is bull riding. It is on this list. I'm telling you, there are handfuls of people on this planet who can do this successfully. I don't care if it's 8 seconds long. You have something that you're on top of trying to kill you any given second. You're on top of it for 8 seconds at a time. And you do this like 5 times a night. Bull riding, the people who do it end up more injured than just about any other sport on the planet. Bull riding is my number 3. And I don't want to be called crazy for that. By the way, bull riding came in at number 42 on this
Bull
list.
riding's insane because they're barely on the bull.
42?
I'm not saying it should be 42.
Okay,
but,
you try it, Sammy. And I'm not talking about electrical bull out in Las Vegas. I'm talking about bull riding.
Yeah, but first off, we can really debate if bull riding should be a sport, number 1. And number 2, again, you're on for 8 seconds. Once you're off the bull, you're done.
Sounds like somebody who's not going to the Lakeside Rodeo coming up in April.
I'm not going to get back into how I feel about rodeos. Number 3.
Too good for rodeos, this guy.
Number 3.
Thinks all of us rednecks are just trash.
Number 3, golf. Golf is one of the hardest sports in there's ever been. And golf is extremely, it might be the hardest in terms of being consistently good. And to be a consistently good golfer, it might be the hardest sport there is. The reason I knock golf down a peg is because you don't have, while golfers do have injuries, you don't have to worry about CTE. You don't have to worry about as many bodily injuries as other sports, as boxing, MMA, football, sports like that. But golf, technically, to be repeatedly good at golf is one of the hardest sports. That's why I have it at number 3.
Also, rodeo guys, they have to deal with buckle bunnies, which is a whole nother world, man. I mean, come on. And speaking of which, golfers actually have to deal with handling like 19 mistresses at the same time. Also, tricky situation. Golf was going to be my number 2. I don't think people understand the level of difference between a professional golfer and someone who just goes out there. Just because you can go out and do something like I'm going to play golf this weekend, hopefully, doesn't mean that within 10 years I could come close to what a Brooks Koepka does. Also, when it comes to golf, we've had 4 people rise above the rest as truly dominant superstars. We've had 4 people throughout the history of golf who have gotten so good to where they're the unquestioned best golfer in the world. It's like Tiger, it's Scotty, it's Arnold, it's Jack. Other than that, everyone's been a bunch of dudes. Ben Hogan, I can hear the argument about. But it's like it's taken so much to get to that very tippy top that there's been like 4 people in our history who have done it. So golf is easily, to me, a top 2 hardest sport ever.
Right, and a pro golfer's worst shot is everyone else's best shot on their best day.
Of their entire life.
So I'm going to go football too because of the danger. There's so much in it's a physical sport. You see guys' bodies break down, and it's a technical sport. I mean, you talk about one of the most complex games that you play. I mean, even say people playing Madden to attack a defense, the different coverages, the entire 11 guys working together at one time. Football is number 2 for me. And at number 1, what's your number 1, Fletch?
My number 1 is MMA.
Okay. You don't have boxing in your top 5?
No, but which is fair for me, I would say. I don't watch nearly as much boxing as I do MMA, but I kind of feel like they're in the same world. Can I go fighting? Can I include them together? I know they're very different sports.
Fine. I'm going boxing 1 because of this. And UFC fans, MMA fans, which obviously is a brutal sport, are going to come after me. You're fighting 11 fewer minutes than boxers.
For sure. But you're also doing a very different style of fighting.
Yeah, but people don't realize that what boxers do. I mean, to hold your hands up for 36 straight minutes with gloves on is hard enough, let alone getting punched in the face over and over again. And you're setting up shots, you're setting up combinations. People who are just casually watching a fighter, like, punch him in the face. Why is he not hitting him? Because you're setting up shots for later rounds, setting up combinations for later. Again, UFC, sometimes you have more vicious knockdowns and knockouts, but it's the repeated blows to a head as well as the stamina. Try training boxing, hitting a heavy bag where you're not even getting hit coming back for rounds on end, and you are dead tired. I think boxers have to be the most fit of any because it's your legs, it's your arms, everything there. But I could hear UFC as well.
615. I think you're both conflating athleticism and skill. Golfing takes skill, but they're not athletic. Same as bull riding. It's a good point. They missed the Tour de France. Cycling is on the list, and it's actually down way further than I thought it would be. It would be in my top 10 for sure, which would be my number 1. A 3-week race of riding your average of 100 miles a day at high speeds on extremely hilly and dangerous courses. Ironically, related to your other topic, probably the one sport where the most doping is due to the extreme demands involved. Yeah, that's the blood doping sport where they will take out some of their blood and put in other stuff. It's crazy with biking.
619 says too much of golf has to do with how good your equipment is. Interesting.
Pro golfers do play with different clubs than we play with. That is true. But if a pro golfer was to go out with my clubs, they would still find a way to break par on every course in the country.
760 says, what's up, fellas? 5 hardest, 5 American football, 4 MMA, 3 rugby, obviously, 2 ice hockey, and number 1 golf.
Golf is hard.
619 says golf. What about curling then? WTF? Go to a professional beach volleyball tournament. And you will see real athletes.
All right. If Sammy's going to talk about how hard it is to hold up your hands for 36 minutes, how hard is it to walk 4 days of a golf course?
Do you really think that golf is harder than boxing? You're holding up weighted gloves while getting punched in the face.
So I don't know if you know this about me, Sammy. I actually went through like 6 months of kickboxing training.
Swear to God, such a lie.
Swear to God, leading up to my wedding, it was the 9 rounds in Mission Valley. I was doing it every day for 6 months. It is.
Can we get some footage of that?
I don't think there is any. Thank God.
Did you spar?
What?
Did you spar?
No, God, no. It was like a fitness thing. You were just doing the kickboxing stuff. 858 hockey / any ice skating, golf, water polo, surfing, boxing / MMA. I like
surfing. Gotta have core.
Surfing is crazy, dude. You ever met a fat surfer? The answer is no.
And then it's a different conversation if you talk about the top 5 most.
I'm sure there's been some Hawaiian big boys who are out there just ripping waves.
If you go top 5 most pressure-filled spots, then you would go quarterback 1, not even close, because you have to manage an entire offense. A closer in baseball.
I mean, but again, a golfer at Augusta.
Who's in contention?
How isolating must that be, though? You know what I mean? You have 100,000 people in front of you watching every little move you make. You have 5 minutes in between shots. Like that's something else.
It's up there. It's not a quarterback or
and you don't have a whole
closer.
team relying on you, which is a big part of it too.
But that's the thing with a star closer. A star closer, it's you're coming in cold.
What about a kicker in a Super Bowl?
A kicker in football. I mean, you're talking about pressure-filled spots. Baseball would be up there if you just talk about hitters, because it might be the most mental sport in that think of the best hitters in baseball are failing 7 of 10 times, 6 of 10 times every time at the plate, and you're going to go through slumps, the best players in baseball. So,
and by the way, a dude is throwing a rock at you 95 miles per hour minimum, it feels like these days.
858 said ultimate fighting is fighting. Boxing is a sport. Ask Rhonda about needing to be able to throw a punch, if not martial arts.
No, I don't want to lump the two into the same category. Honestly, I do not know enough about boxing to include it in my top 5, which is probably on me. I should know more about it. But MMA, I do equate the two in terms of physicality.
The MMA is you have to worry about more stuff. Obviously, you can get taken to the ground. You can get you on the feet. You have to learn a bunch of how to wrestle. There's a bunch of different things that go into the UFC. But again, you can also take a little bit of not a break. That sounds wrong. But you've seen fighters who don't want to get caught with big shots, just take guys down to the mat and kind of sit there for a minute and try to regain their breath. I saw that text too.
Come on, 619. Guaranteed anyone who picked golf as number 1. You're insulting 3 texters, and I picked golf number 2. So, and also
619 says guarantee anyone who picked golf as number 1 has a beer gut and has a deep fried quarter pounder for dinner last night.
Yeah, that was the text I was halfway through reading. Sammy, way to go.
You stopped reading it though because you started laughing.
San Diego Sports 760. We got one more left for you. Jonathan Rifkin's going to take over as soon as we're done. I feel good about that. I think the real answer there is everyone's top 5 is probably your own, because there's a lot of subjectivity
I'm
here.
surprised you didn't have golf at 1.
I'm surprised I didn't have bobsledding in it at all. I watched a lot of bobsledding.
Bobsledding is not a sport. You sit in a tube and go down the same path.
It is not
every time.
Tube. It is like 2 centimeters that separates you from life and death.
Bobsledding is like calling cross-country skiing a sport.
Sammy, the best bodies in the Olympics over the last however many weeks were bobsledders.
No, they were figure skaters.
That's not true. That's simply not true.
Bobsledding's not a sport. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll die on that hill.
I'm going to have to send Sammy like 19 more videos. I'm going to take this next commercial break. I'm going to do some deep research. I'm going to send him all his way, and then he'll have a very different tone on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for a final time. Jonathan Rifkin's got you till 5 o'clock.
Jonathan Rifkin.
I'll be back at 5. John Schaefer's got tip off between San Diego State, Boise State at 6. Remember last time these two teams played each other? Triple overtime game. Chaos at Viejas Arena. J-Riff is furious at me and Sammy right now.
J-Riff had the odd. Read what Rifkin said.
Okay. This was unprompted. He texted me and said, F1 driver needs to be top 2. No
Get
contest.
Out of here.
No contest. And then I responded politely. I said it came in at 32 on this crappy list, which is probably too low, but it ain't top 2. And then he said that segment infuriated me. How the F is golf a sport and bobsled / cross country skiing is not?
Because no one watches that.
I watched a lot of bobsled. And I just watching doesn't mean sport.
The bobsled, by the
I
way.
disagree.
858 says,
no one
make
watches
Sammy
high
watch
diving.
the movie Cool Running since he's a bobsled hater. I've seen Cool Running.
You are such a bobsled hater.
It's a great movie.
It is a badass sport.
Here's the problem. Just because it's scary, you sent me the Colin Jost clip from SNL.
And that's not even the scariest one. That's the bobsled that you're inside. I'm talking about skeleton, dude.
They just go down the same
That's
track.
not true.
It is not a sport. You just have to make sure you try not to die. That is not competitive. There's no nuance. No one has ever power ranked bobsledders and went, hey, that guy, that closer's better than that.
Plenty of lists of bobsledders ranked, just not based on their bobsledding ability.
Reasons.
What did our text line say the other day? Bouncy bobsled babes are a thing. It's a fact.
J-Riff. Brother.
Yeah, J-Riff is high if he thinks F1 needs to be
F1
near
is
the top.
great.
Now,
Okay, ask Rifkin this.
Let me give him
what
some
is
credit.
his number one? If F1 is 2,
he probably has boxing at 1, I would say, or mixed martial arts or something like that. But here's what I'll say. F1 drivers have to have elite reaction times, better than pretty much any other sport.
Yeah.
F1 drivers also, have you seen them? They all have the same necks. They're thick, wide necks because they're literally dealing with G-forces.
I'm not saying they don't have to be athletes, but to say that they're bigger athletes over
top
baseball,
2 is insane.
football,
Insane.
boxing, UFC, I mean, that's crazy.
Rodeo.
I mean,
I had fun today. Today was a fun show.
Today was a fun show.
If you missed any of it, check it out on the podcast. Just search Fletch Zone on the free iHeartRadio app. You can find it there. J-Riff is coming up next, and have fun with him on the text line.
If he opens up the show talking about cross country skiing,
of course he's opening up
it's
the
a
show.
sport.
No, he's going to be talking about F1. Why it's the top 2. J-Riff, if you want us to send you the link, we can. It's a terrible list. I hate the list, by the way. Sammy, maybe throw it out on Twitter, the list from at Fletch and Sammy, so people can see where the list is and what I think it's the dumbest list ever. But you can find it
too.
All right, I'll see you guys
Jonathan
at 5
Rifkin.
o'clock. Sammy, I'll see you tomorrow. Good work today.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody. J-Riff next.